Hey laptop shopping buddy, and today I'm going to be going over the Lenovo Y50 594262255 version. I left a link in the description below to the best discount going on right now for this particular model. As of right now, it's running at a 28% discount, so be sure to check that out. So I'm going to get right into it with the performance. It's running the Intel Core i7 4700 HQ processor. This is a high-end 4th generation Core i7, so it's running Haswell architecture. And it has turbo boost up to 3.4 GHz with a base clock speed of 2.4 GHz. And this just means it could dynamically increase or decrease depending on what you're doing. So it's a quad core processor, so it's great for multitasking. And as you can see on the CPU benchmark.net scores is just below the 4710 HQ. It's just clocked 0.1 GHz lower, but it has very similar performance. So performance is just not an issue with this processor. It's very powerful and very fast, and it's great for multitasking. So there's 8 GB of DDR3 RAM in this model, so you can do some heavy multitasking without getting that sluggish performance. For most people, 8 GB isn't enough. If you're doing really heavy demand stuff like video rendering or maybe even running virtual machines, things of that nature, you could always expand your RAM, but for most people and most gamers, 8 GB will get the job done. So this model is running the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 860M. This is a mid-range GPU, and I'm going to jump over to a different screen so you can get a ballpark idea of what kind of performance you can expect. So as you can see, GTA 5 is running at 36.4 frames per second on average on high settings with a 1080p resolution, and 124.8 frames per second on medium settings with a 720p resolution. So it gets great performance in Grand Theft Auto 5. Battlefield Hardline, it's running at 44.5 frames per second on high settings, 1080p, and 96 frames per second on medium settings. So a good performance with Battlefield Hardline as well. Evolve, 33 frames per second at 1080p and 61 frames per second on medium settings. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, 39 frames per second on high settings, 1080p, and an average of 56 frames per second on medium with 720p. So as you can see, most modern games are running on high or medium settings smoothly. There's some games here that are running ultra settings smoothly, like FIFA 2015, 102 frames per second on ultra settings with 1080p. So obviously the performance does depend on the game. Sims 4, 54 frames per second on 1080p. So this GPU is great for gaming. It can handle most games just fine. So this hard drive is a 1TB 8GB SSHD. What this means is there's an 8GB solid state portion that Windows will use to cache files. It's a way of boosting performance because when you're caching files on a traditional hard drive, there's that spinning disk, so it does take a lot longer. With the 8GB SSD, it's a flash-based hard drive, so performance is just instant and quick. So Windows could go ahead and cache files and access those cached files really quickly with the 8GB solid state portion. Now on Windows, this will just show up as one drive. You won't have control over the 8GB portion. That's just for Windows to handle in the background. So the great thing about the hybrid drive is you get the advantage of the spacious 1TB portion, so you can store all your games, media, and music or whatever. Then you get some of the speed performance of a solid state drive with the cached portion. So this has a 15.6-inch touchscreen display, and the touchscreen display is a 10-point touch, so you could use up to 10 fingers at the same time. So with Windows 8.1 or even the upcoming Windows 10 release, you'll have that alternative means of navigation, which I think is great. So this laptop also has a 1080p native resolution, so you get that high pixel density. And the great advantage of having a high resolution screen is you just see more on the screen at the same time. So you can have multiple windows up at the same time, which is great if you're a graphics designer, or if you just have a workflow where you just require multiple windows up at the same time. With a lower resolution, this can make it a lot harder because just one little window can take up a large portion of the screen. So there is a DVD-RW drive in this model, so you could easily install older games or your software or whatever. There's an HD webcam, so you get that high quality video chatting as well. So this thing weighs about 5.3 pounds, so it's about average for a 15.6 inch laptop, but it is one of the lighter gaming laptops out there. Most gaming laptops are typically heavier than 5.3 pounds, but Lenovo did a good job of slimming it down. It has that aluminum chassis, so it's a sleek design. I'd imagine the aluminum helps cut down on the weight as well. So this model does have a backlit keyboard. This feature is often overlooked. Many people don't realize that they need that backlit keyboard until they're gaming in the dark and they just can't see. So I think for a gaming laptop, a backlit keyboard is a must-have. There's 2 USB 3 ports, 1 USB 2 port, there's an Ethernet port, and there's also an HDMI out port. So you could hook up to an external display easily. So to wrap things up, this is a really solid laptop for the price range. So be sure to check out that link in the description because that's where you're going to get the best discount going on right now for this laptop. As of right now, it's a 28% discount, so be sure to check that out. And you could also check out user reviews and see exactly what other people are saying about it.